Step number 12 in the 15-step playbook for pain relief. Hi, welcome everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT. I'm here today as your therapist and as your coach to help you transform any stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. If you've not had a chance to go get a digital copy, you must do that today. Just go to my website, jasonbarlowrmt.com, and from there you'll see a page that will show itself very quickly. You just have to leave me your email address and I will send off a digital copy straight away to you. And straight away start diving in and digesting this information that I'm sharing with you in these podcast episodes. Every Thursday is my 15-step playbook for pain relief, dive deeper sessions. This week, step number 12 is still revolving around food. So just to recall and refresh your memory, remember there are 4 areas of your health that you have the ability to learn how to control and directly influence. Right now, they may not feel like they're under your control and influence. And I'm here as your coach and your therapist. And through my book and through these podcast episodes and videos and so forth, I'm striving to educate you and therefore motivate you to change the way that you look at things and change the way that you do little things that in the long run will have a big impact. You know, it's very much like a savings and an investment for your health in the same respect of how you approach your finances. If you're slowly putting money away and you're accruing that over many decades, you can appreciate the end result is going to be far more magnificent than if you put some in and take some out and put some in and take some out. And it's the same with respect of our health. Remember, there's 4 areas that you're learning how to control because you already have those areas going. It's just a matter of you learning how to control the spin of that plate, so to speak. The first area is your mind. I firmly believe that we have to start with our mindset. We have to start with our mindset. If we never change the way that we look at things, the way things look will never change. And this formula I've shared before, I'd just love to reiterate because we can't hear it often enough, is if you want to get different results, you've got to engage in different actions. If you want to have different actions, you've got to have different feelings because it's your feelings and your wishes that are driving the actions. We can do a good job of saying this and saying that and wishing and so forth out loud, but unless we're actually following through with actions, those results are never going to change. So where do all these actions and feelings originate from? It is our thoughts. And where do those thoughts come from? Well, it's learning how to control them within our mind. They're just spontaneously and naturally arising within our mind right now, seemingly out of control. Learn the methods of how to control those thoughts. And guess what? You have different thoughts, you have different feelings, you have different actions, you get different results. So the question is, are you satisfied? Are you getting what you want out of your life, out of your health, out of your energy, out of your vitality, or not? And if you're looking for a change, only you can make that change. I'm here as an educator. There are countless people out there educating you. Many different types of YouTube videos, many different types of podcasts, many different books that you can read. I'm here to try and cut to the chase. That's why I created the 15-step playbook for pain relief. As a busy father, as a volunteer, as a business owner, there's all these different hats that we're wearing every day, and it's balancing and managing our time that ultimately influences what we're able to achieve in that very time span. And I remember a patient just last week said, you know, time flies, but we are the pilots. So I say that to you. Time is flying by, but you are the pilot. Right now, maybe you've been on autopilot for a while, but I'm imploring you, take that responsibility back, regain control of that. What would you call it in an airplane? I want to call it a steering column. Take a hold of that and take it with 2 hands and start navigating in the directions that you want to go. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive into step number 12. It's the third of 3 food hazards. Recall that the first one was looking at sugar. I'll let you dive back a couple of weeks ago to explore that. The other one we looked at last week was the food hazard of grains. And this week it is dairy. So these are the top 3 food components that I always recommend. They're the top 3 that I always recommend to all my patients. It's the top 3 that I go to when I'm going to make any modifications to my diet. And you must become vigilant and aware of your body's reactions to these three in particular. What happens when you ingest more sugar-based foods, whether it be even fruit, high volume of fruit, or high starchy foods, which are very carbohydrate loaded, or obviously the refined and processed sugar, which is the number one nemesis very much. Secondly, we looked at grains. Grains can have a huge impact upon our digestive system, how we're actually delivering nutrients to our body, and how we're actually digesting and eliminating, waste products from our body too. So dairy, and here's what I'm sharing in my book, contrary to all the modern day advertisements and our national food pyramid recommendations, dairy is not all it's cut up to be. Tasty, yes, but not necessarily providing the abundance of calcium and related nutrients we've been led to believe. Why? Well, it's through the process of pasteurization and homogenization that good vitamins and enzymes have been destroyed. So it almost becomes devoid of what you think you're going to get out of the food. So we got to test this out for ourselves. Let this be a scientific experiment. What happens for your body when you take dairy out of your diet? That's the biggest question. Because we can, again, read lots of books about the benefits or the downfalls of having dairy in your diet. But you need to be your own explorer and adventurer. See what happens when you eliminate it from your diet. But I recommend, if you're going to do that, to do it for a minimum of 30 days. Because it's during that 30-day process that your gut has chance to heal and recuperate. Your whole glandular system and hormonal system has the opportunity to balance itself out with dairy not being thrust within your diet. So that's what I would start off by doing. So this is going to be just part one. Next week, I'm going to go a little bit deeper in terms of dairy. So what I want you to do this week is don't even necessarily dive straight into remove dairy. All I want you to become this week is a dairy detective. A dairy detective. That is, eat a normal diet, but especially if it's a processed food, if it's got an ingredients list, I want you to pay attention to whether it's got a source of dairy within that particular food product. And if it does, make a note. Now, here's what I've done for you already. You can go again to my website. Let me see where I've got this one. Okay. It's popping up on the screen. For those of you listening in, it's jasonbarlowrmt.com/free-tools. And on there, I've created a 7-day nutrition and sleep logbook. Now, you can print more than 7 sheets. You can print it for 28 days or 2 years or whatever you wish. That's on you. But what I'm encouraging you to do for this next week is I want you to become that dairy detective and write down what you're eating, when you're eating it, and highlight those foods each meal, each day, each week of those containing dairy. Now, you do need to become more of a detective. You need to become sharp and understand what adaptations of words are being used, that it's still a source of dairy, but it doesn't specifically say dairy. So I'm going to leave that on you to do that exploration and understand what it is that you're specifically looking for. If you have any further questions, obviously, just email me directly. So that's your goal this week. I want you to become a dairy detective, spend the week looking at the foods you're ingesting, and then next week, we're going to extrapolate that information a bit more, and we're going to dive a bit deeper, and then maybe next week, we can look at removing the dairy. Now, here's the challenge, because a month from now is going to be Christmas. So if you wish, if you're game on, go 1 month from now, because I guarantee come Christmas time, you're probably going to be indulging a little bit more in the sweet treats and dairy-sourced Cadbury's chocolates and so forth. So with that in mind, I would definitely jump in a bit sooner so that you can come off the diet, so to speak, or, reintroduce the dairy for Christmas, enjoy yourself, because you can't enjoy yourself without it, right? I've had people say that to me before. But at least then you get to treat yourself for Christmas, and you'll also get a sense of how your body reacts when you have not had it for 30 days and you, boom, throw it in for a good few days around Christmas. You'll get a clearer picture as to the impact that dairy is really having upon your life. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope that has been of benefit. As always, I'm here to serve you. Remember, your muscle health is my #1 priority. Please do go download my book. It's free and readily available. And from my website, you can obviously also explore other facets to my website, other social media streams that I'm posting on. So please join me in this journey. I hope this is a benefit. Thank you very much and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.